Hey guys, Jay here, and welcome back to another video. Today we're diving deep into one of the most polarizing roles in Throne and Liberty, healing. Healing in this game is a fascinating and complex mechanic. Some say it's overpowered, while others claim it's undervalued. Some might even say that it is really fun, but also not so fun at the same time. But in reality, it might be all of these. So let's break down the state of the healing in Throne and Liberty, and why it feels both necessary and yet underwhelming, and how we can make the experience better for healers in the game. With that, guys, leave a comment below on your thoughts of the healing in Throne and Liberty, but I challenge you with this, that if you have a problem, try to come up with a solution so that maybe, just maybe, the devs will see this video and consider our opinions. First, let's talk about PvE. Healers in Throne and Liberty are essential. There's no question about it. You can't get through most of the tougher content without a healer. Whether you're running dungeons or trials, the healer is your lifeline, the one that keeps everyone alive. However, here's where things get a little tricky. Healing feels pretty underwhelming at times in PvE, especially during boss fights. You might be casting your heart out, keeping your team topped off, but then bam, one of your teammates dies to a one-shot mechanic, and then the whole raid is ruined. Now that's not the fault of the healer's skill, it's just the nature of the encounter. And let's be honest, it's not particularly satisfying as a healer when your entire team gets wiped because of a seemingly unavoidable mechanic that really just wasn't your fault. One way to improve this would be to design PvE encounters where healing can have a more direct impact. Maybe add mechanics that allow the healer to actively prevent death or mitigate the damage in a more engaging way, giving healers a little bit more influence over survival beyond just keeping everyone's health at full could really change the experience for the better. Another example of this could be a mechanic that replaces some, not all one-shot mechanics, because I understand that it can be necessary, to where the boss does a constant damage mechanic over time to the entire team, either to random teammates each time or plan depending on the team's positioning, allowing the healer to have a chance to save them through skill of cycling heals. That way, the team is heavily reliant on the healer and thus creating more satisfaction when the healer is able to pull it off. Now let's shift gears to small-scale arena PvP. This is where things get a little more interesting for healers. In these smaller matches, healing can feel incredibly rewarding. Keeping your team alive through tight fights, managing your resources, mana, and cooldowns, and positioning yourself just right is a challenging role, but when you pull it off, it feels great. But here's the catch. Healing in arena PvP is tough, not just because of the sheer damage being thrown at you and your teammates, but because of an overwhelming amount of crowd control. You can get chain stunned, silenced, and CC'd to the point where you feel like you're just sitting there, unable to really do anything. This can be really frustrating, especially when you're supposed to be keeping your team alive. This might also have to do with the map literally asking you to get tossed into the purple lake of death 20 times in a row. If you know, you know. But I also understand that this is where team coordination and game sense allow for these CC stun chains to even happen, making it rewarding for those inflicting the torment on the enemy healer. One potential solution for this could be adjusting how stuns and crowd controls work in arena settings. Maybe implementing a diminishing return system where after being stunned once, the duration of the next stun is reduced, in a way giving a short timed buff to whoever got stunned so that the other team can still reap the benefits of coordinating, but this would also allow healers to actually play their role without getting locked down for the entire fight. And also, just delete the purple lake map. For me, I personally enjoy arena maps where the map has nothing to do with my ability to win, rather it has everything to do with how skillful each of the players are. With that, an empty arena can be boring, so maybe just add some pillars to skillfully be utilized for breaking line of sight might be a useful change. Now moving into guild versus guild PvP or large scale PvP, this is where healing is truly a necessity. Healers are the backbone of these fights, and without them your guild is going to have a tough time. But here's the issue. Just like in small scale arenas, healers in large scale PvP often get overwhelmed by stuns and crowd control. And another issue I want to bring up is how healing teammates outside of the party, especially on a controller, is basically impossible due to the limits of the UI. First, let's talk about CC and GvG. Goodness, should I even talk about this? As discussed earlier, the sheer amount of crowd control in these battles can be a real pain. When you're locked down and unable to do anything, it feels like you're just a sitting duck, unable to contribute to the fight, and then you just die, run back out, rinse and repeat. For a role that's meant to keep everyone alive, being constantly interrupted can be really frustrating. One solution for this would be to give healers in guild versus guild situations a special ability or buff that allows them to break or mitigate crowd control effects, but can also help heal teammates. I know we have our Purification Stone, but I'm talking about a one-time use healing ability similar to the Guardian, but where everyone on the battle knows you're actively using it. Think of an ability where when you use it, it breaks CCs, and then you rise up in the air glowing light and you heal your teammates constantly, unleashing the true power of a healer, and everyone looks at you in awe and loves you for everything you— Dang, I felt like I was in a dream for a second. Anyway, something like that where it's like an ultimate ability that can only be used once during a GvG encounter. That way it could give healers some breathing room in these large scale fights and would not only make the experience more fun, but also help balance out the power dynamics in these large scale battles. Regarding healing others outside the party in GvG, a potential solution could be simply solved by adding a raid-sized group that you can heal, or effectively just double the party size. This would immediately improve everyone's experience because healers can not only heal more allies and feel more strong and impactful, but it will also allow healers to receive more accurate peels from other teammates who have the ability to do so. Too often everyone gets lost in the throes of battle, but being able to see a larger party size would also allow for more cohesion and teamwork in the group. Finally, let's talk about the psychology of being a healer in Throne of Liberty. Healers often find themselves in a tough spot. On one hand, they're essential to the success of the team, but on the other hand, they're rarely acknowledged for their effort. The moment a healer makes a mistake, no matter how small, they can be flamed immediately by teammates. But when things go right, no one even thanks the healer because it's expected of them to perform perfectly. Now, I totally get that this is just a person-to-person interaction, but I feel like there are some ways to improve it in the game. However, before I get into the solutions, I will say that when a healer pulls off something great, like keeping a team alive through a tough encounter, or when they get recognized by their teammates for their effort, it does feel really good. It's a rewarding experience that makes all the struggles worth it. For those DPS guys out there that might not understand, think of the feeling you get when you're killing one person after the other because of pure skill. That same feeling is what healers get when we save the entire team. So a potential solution to improve the overall psychological experience of the healer is a better team recognition system where players can give positive feedback or show appreciation for healers. Something as simple as an MVP healer tag or a medal at the end of the match could go a long way to make healers feel more valued and appreciated. Furthermore, similar to how everyone sees the top killer in a large-scale PvP fight, maybe showing the player with the most heals could be a way to add more recognition to the great healers out there. Heck, even giving some sort of reward for healing would inevitably make healing, well, more rewarding. In the end, healing in Throne of Liberty is an incredibly rewarding and fulfilling role, but it's also full of challenges and frustrations. As someone who really enjoys healing across various MMOs, I want to see healers thrive in Throne of Liberty. By addressing some of these issues, whether it's making healing feel more impactful in PvE, reducing the frustration in PvP, or just giving healers the recognition they deserve, I truly believe that the devs can make healing a more enjoyable and fulfilling experience for everyone. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I am super curious to hear about your thoughts and opinions, so please leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next one.